Kings of Punk Podcast, Legacy of Discharge, Part 2, kingsofpunk.com.
But I think it's really important to talk about a couple things with Discharge. I'm going to talk about, I think, the bass sound you want to talk about, Jake. But first, I think we got to talk about the formula of the songs.
Yeah.
Very strict.
Yes.
They
got stricter and stricter with it for a while until they didn't.
A lot of people sometimes mess this up, but if you want to sound like Discharge, the verse you play 6 times.
Yeah.
2 to start, 2 with vocals in the beginning, and then 2
in the middle,
and then you do 4 for a chorus, or 4 or 8 for a chorus,
or 5. I feel like I've even heard 5.
I don't know. I don't know what. I can't corroborate that necessarily, but usually it's that. And then and then when you do a solo, it's for 4 or 8. But the 6 is very important because it's not 8. I think 8 repetitions is too long, and 6 is like 4 will be too short.
And if you've never heard it before, and even if you have heard it before, it is jarring, but in a good way. Like it sticks in your mind because it's like it feels a little too short, and that's the point.
Yeah.
One thing I've said this before, and then in researching for this podcast, I realized I think I said this because the guy from Neurosis said it. I don't know much about Neurosis, but the vocalist and lyricist has said that for years and years he's been influenced by what he calls the Discharge haiku. I've before in trying to explain how good this band is compared Cal's lyrics to haiku, which is a very, very strict form of Japanese poetry. 575 syllables, 3 lines. Your subject matter is limited to you're basically painting a picture of something rather than having a narrative like you would in long form poetry, and that is to a T. At least the spirit of what Cal does with his lyrics, and I would argue what Discharge by this point is fully doing with their music. They are painting tableaus of war and suffering using a very, very strict format, and I think having a strict format like that, and even a band like the Ramones is a little bit like this, can actually stimulate creativity on your part if it's actually strict, if it's not just lazy, if it's not just, we don't need to do more. If you start out telling yourself, we are not going to do more than these established things, that forces you to do more within those lines because you can't color outside of them.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree. And that's why this record I think is so great, is because it's to the point. It's like 14 minutes or so. Like, it doesn't fuck around. Like, I mean, I don't know. Ain't No Feeble Bastard, like, such a fucking good song. The title track, Why? Like, the lyrics, the chorus, why? Like, it sounds like if someone brought that to, like, the table, I think it'd be like...
Yeah, like, you're joking, right?
That's got to be a joke. It's got to be a joke. But, like...
You're fucking with me.
Sounds dead fucking serious when you hear the record, though.
Yeah. That's why it's so great. And, like, as you were saying, with the bass on this record...
On this Reddit
thread, the bass on this Reddit thread is really... It's really heavy. Like,
yeah, you don't hear that on their previous records. I don't think
not as much.
No.
Like, not as much. It blends in more.
It's
on the
high
other
up
ones.
on the mix here, and it has a little overdrive. This is one element that I do have to assume maybe came from Lenny from Motorhead.
Our good friend
Lenny.
Good friend Lan.
Rainey's style is developing a little bit more. We talked about Cro-Mags before, and I know this is one of Harley's big influences in Cro-Mags, and if you listen to the Cro-Mags demo, it's very obvious. It's there's a sort of stylistic cluster between Rainey from Discharge, Geezer Butler, and Kronos from Venom, and then it kind of you add in the guy from Bad Brains who has a kind of different style, and then you end up with Harley Flanagan. And this is like that, using the and Lemmy obviously, and you end up with fucking Lenny, and then throwing in some power chords here and there on the bass, and just that fuzzy overdrive, which has since become a total trope of the D-beat genre. Like, this record is where that really enters the mix. And, by way of this band, I think Motorhead would have brought that influence to, like, metal bands and other heavy bands, too. But this record, I think, did a lot to, like, really get that out there. Because if you've never heard that before, if you only heard, like, a normal, undistorted bass, like, it's, like, shocking. You're like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that.
It's heavy as shit.
It is.
Like,
GBH did that, too, to their credit. But this record is, like, a big part of popularizing that, I think.
I mean, whole UK, they love that that shredding bass.
Yeah.
You know,
Love it.
Venom,
Venom,
you know,
Napalm Death.
Motorhead. You know, again, yeah, these bands.
It's a thing where it's fuzzy.
They
and
love it.
It's fuzzy, and he's playing some chords, and he's sliding around the neck a little bit.
Yeah,
but then
he does that a bunch too.
But he always lands where he needs to, and it's fucking. It like puts you on edge because it's like, where is he gonna land with that boom? And then it lands like a fucking bomb going off.
Yeah, and the bass shouldn't work like that because the bass should be the rhythm along with the drums. So it's just like all this chaos. So they go along a tour. This is like earlier in the 81. They do this. I think like mid 81. I don't know exactly when it comes out, but they end up going on a tour. I guess you could say it's the New Punk tour ostensibly. It's called the Apocalypse Now tour. It's like I believe 7 dates in the UK. With Exploited. Exploited is like the headlining the big band. At least on the flyer that I saw. With them, Discharge, Antipasti, Crongen, and Infra Riot.
Yep.
I've heard a lot of those names, but I have no idea what they sound like.
Why are they so against pasta?
Yeah, I like Pasta.
Antipasti. I don't know what their name means. Antipasti and is a band that had like some great singles or EPs back then. I think on the LP it wore out its welcome a little bit, as is the case with a lot of UK2 stuff. But I will say all the bands you just mentioned were like standard bearers of like basically the UK hardcore scene at that point. They were popular and made some good music. Infra Riot, maybe they leaned a little more oi sounding. They've got the sing along football choruses. Again, some great songs. LP is a little much for me. Crongen, I love that band. I think they're great. They're a little like poppier sounding. They're like if you took a band like this, not like Discharge, but like a UK82 band, and added a little bit more, like I said, like pop sensibility in the songwriting. I like Crongen a lot, and they were popular at this point. They played a lot of big shows.
Yeah, and I believe near the end of 81, they do some sort of a European tour. It's hard to say. Some of the stuff, folks, it was very hard for me to find out. And I assume they did a European tour near the end of 81 because there's a photo of them at Vatican City. So it's very likely that they did. I'm sure they weren't just going on vacation just because.
Especially to that place.
They
I'm sure
probably went to Italy. I would assume they did Scandinavia too.
Yeah,
I think I've
probably
heard people from Anti-Simex talk about it. It's tough because, one, there's resources that are not in English, and two, outside of the UK, like in continental Europe, even at this point, there were like venues that were squats and weren't official venues, and everyone there was like huffing glue all the time, so it's hard to get information.
Yeah.
Do you think they played in Paris, France?
They probably got their seed all over a bunch of people, I bet. And they probably had people gasping, "Oh, never again would I ever go see Discharge." And
Little did they know,
they will continue to strike. But they also released another single at the end of 81, near the end of 81, called the Never Again single. Now, this has Discharge has so much iconic like art. This has the pigeon on the knife that you've seen before.
Yeah, I think this might be
one of their most iconic, besides the Three Skull thing.
Oh yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I would imagine this, as well as the Three Skull thing, probably went a long way to making metalheads listen to them. This looks like the Never Again one is maybe the first record that looks like it could be a metal record.
Yeah, I mean, but by this time, what do we have? Like, I think the second Minor Threat 7 inches out by then.
Yeah, no metalhead's gonna think that looks cool.
No,
but they see this dove getting shoved.
There you
on
go.
The album cover.
Yeah,
I think why
shoved onto a knife.
I think why is an important album cover aesthetically too, because
for sure
that collage style has become so ubiquitous since then. We know this was a big influence on Sakevi of Gizm from Japan. It's influenced, I think, by I know Cal was very into the craft stuff and he was giving some direction to that Martin guy there. But I mean, yeah, the collage thing, that's a long tradition in punk that goes back to 70s. Even Throbbing Gristle kind of helped popularize that. But that's now over the years I think come more associated with like D-beat and anarcho-punk specifically.
Oh,
And
yeah.
why would be a crucial explanation as to why that is.
I think very stark, the black and white, very stark contrast. I think that's really important too. I don't think we need to listen to a song off Never Again. It's pretty good. It's not as good as, like, production wise, it's not as good. The title track, Never Again, I like that song a lot. The chorus is really good. Never again.
But one thing I would say about this record is you can hear their musical style evolving a little bit. It has a little bit of
tighter.
It has some heavy metal sleekness to it that Y does not.
Yeah, it's for sure production wise.
And the D-beat there, he's playing it. It's less jarring and like there's a little less crash cymbal, so it's less. It feels less stop and start, and more like a driving Motorhead rhythm.
Yeah.
To me.
Well, that has another drummer on it, Gary Maloney.
I think that change is really, really important because the Y record, the drumming, again, it has a little bit of, not in a sloppy way, because I've described Venom like this before, and I meant they were sloppy. Y has a kind of like falling down the stairs quality. It's chaotic sounding, and I think the drums with the like massive amounts of crash cymbal have a lot to do with that. On Never Again, they sort of compress that down to something that more resembles like a driving Motorhead beat and would later become like a driving thrash metal beat.
Yeah.
Really, the Kill 'Em All beat.
For
Oh,
sure.
yes. Yeah.
The Kill 'Em All factor really starts on Never Again, I think.
So, 1982, we have the LP come out. Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing. Once again, iconic album art. I think everyone's seen this. You probably have heard this before, but I think this would be like, to me, I think this is like, in my opinion, one of the heaviest records of this time, production-wise. Like, it's crazy how good this still sounds.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is... I think I've said before, you can make a solid case that this is the greatest hardcore album of all time, I think.
Yeah. Like, this to me, and I think on a songwriting thing, this is now, because it's 14 songs, and they're expanding it a little bit. They're adding a couple different elements here and there. I think this is, like, the definitive idea of Discharge.
It is. It's
especially lyrically.
Exactly. Yeah, I've described this as a concept record before because, with the exception of Free Speech for the Dumb, because the earlier records would be like mostly anti-war stuff and then some general anti-government stuff. This record is, I would say, 95% of it is just describing the horrors of war.
Yeah,
and even to the point of having the sound collage kind of thing at the end of the A side with the clips from whatever that documentary was, the Enormous Door documentary and shit. And Enormous Door, it's a reference to the way that people who were there when the atomic bomb got dropped said it sounded like an enormous door slamming in the gates of hell. Cal then used that term in some of his lyrics on this record. So this they polish up some of the playing, specifically the drumming becomes a little more driving, a little more like stripped down sounding at least. The production is, I guess, by conventional definition, better. I also happen to like it better. They add in some songwriting elements that weren't there before, but this is all simultaneously like the strictest they ever stuck to their formula.
I think this kind of also is like, so we're pretty much finished with the Hallucination Realized LP, a band that me and Gary over here play in. And I feel like I've been listening back to some of the songs. I feel like a lot of the songs, it's like, some of these songs sound like older songs I've done, but I've like, we have refined them. And it's like, this is, yes, you could say this kind of part in this song is similar to this part in an older song, but we've been able to refine them and do it like way better, like on every single level. And I think this is like what they needed to do, because very shortly after this, they start to change their sound and it becomes pretty drastic. But I think this was like the apex of them. Like, this is like the diamond that has been like cut and trimmed and like, it's like perfect. Like, there's for an LP, a full length album, this is like, I think, perfect.
I think this. I've said this before about other bands, but this is the record where they became what they were, to use a Nietzschean phrase, and the tragic nature of becoming is once you stop becoming and you've become, then you start to go rotten or become brittle. Ideally, you want to be eternally becoming, but that's not how life works.
Yeah, I mean, if only we could all be so lucky.
I thought you were going to quote the Pantera song.
Oh, well, becoming.
Yeah. Become. I think
The only line I know is becoming.
You could say Discharge reached a new level with this release.
That's true.
That's the only I always make that Pantera reference because it's my favorite song of theirs.
Little did we know that they were walking through the cemetery gates. Where their career was, at least.
But, I mean, the first song, Hear Nothing, See Nothing, the title track.
See Nothing.
I think this is, like, the definitive, like, idea of, like, starkness and, like, minimalism in a sense. Like, lyrics are literally lie to, threaten, cheat, and deceived. Hear nothing, see nothing, say nothing. No, I'm saying it.
Nothing.
Let up, garden paths, and into blind alleys. Hear nothing, see nothing, say nothing. That's it. And they just repeat it.
It literally reads like haiku.
It's it is technically 3 lines.
Yeah.
They just repeat.
And even the guitar riffs on this record are like, they are simple. Like, he doesn't add in a lot of, it's not busy sounding, which I like a lot of busy sounding music. I've written a fair amount of it, but he only plays the chords he needs to.
Well, you know,
and I think with each song, it's like it's not the same. It's not the same. Again, it's like doing a lot in a small amount of space. Like
it's all in the subtle. It's in the details, man. It's the songs feel different because there's little tiny details that are different on them, but that adds up to a different feel on the songs.
Now you know where the use of the haiku comes from.
Where's that?
That's just Kale's way of showing how much of a anime fan he is.
So he's
like him, like
he's an otaku.
Yeah, he got it from fucking Speed Racer.
Respecting Japanese culture.
He was really into the original Gundam. Series that I believe
might have been
premiered in the 70s. I believe it premiered in the 70s.
It's Japanese, so I assume,
and that's like an anti-war kind of like show.
Yeah, everything from Japan was.
Wow.
At that
point, that would be so. Because here's another thing, folks. Anything that I've read about like Discharge, nothing comes from him. He is not included. Yeah. It seems that Cal does not want to talk about Discharge for some reason. I wonder why.
I think it has something to do with getting those trash cans thrown on them when they played in America.
And we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, they have a few good records left in them, though. So,
is there? I think I would like to play a song. I'm trying to think of one. There's so many.
Well, how about Q?
Q and Children, Children.
I was going to suggest that one.
That's a really good one.
Let's play that one.
That one's good, yeah.
Because that's another thing where it's like...
Cries of Pain is good, too. Meanwhile, those are like my 3 favorites.
Cries of Help, you mean?
Oh, yeah, but he says Cries of Pain.
Cries of Pain. All right, let's play Question. And Children? Answer. And Children. Wow, incredible track from Discharge, Question and Children, Answer and Children, which also predicted the QAnon movement.
And children. It's about Frazzle Drip.
Yeah. It's about...
It's like Q being like, well, and children? What about the children?
Yeah.
And whoever A is...
It's
Obama.
anonymous. It's Obama.
It's Barack
Yeah, it's
Obama.
anonymous. Yeah. Q and anonymous both say and children.
I think...
The question is, it's in response to what has Hillary Clinton eaten? And it's like, I don't know, hot dogs, soy milk,
And
smoothies.
And children?
And children.
Okay, wow.
And then the anon is like, and it's like it knows. Oh yeah. And children.
So, great record. And then we got one more record that comes out in 1982, State Violence, State Control.
This is one of my favorite Discharge records, actually. There is a stylistic change. It's catchier. It sounds a little more like a rock song.
Yes.
But it's the same basic formula of songwriting, and it is really catchy.
It's so... I listened to it today, earlier. It's so good.
But perhaps this is where the cracks start appearing.
This is kind of where you start. Because
I would say they appear most clearly right after this, but this is, in retrospect, you can see them,
Yeah. Like, his vocals from that to this already sound different.
Just a little bit different. But
And,
yes.
it's like, subtle enough to where it's like, when you, like, have this timeline, you go, oh, okay. Because, should we play that song?
Sure.
Or do we want to just keep going?
So you should listen to that song, listeners, if you haven't before.
Please.
I think we should skip it and definitely play a song off the next record, because the next one is where it is still really good, but the cracks are clearly showing.
Yes. So 1983 comes. Well, I'll say this. This is important.
You should definitely play the song that Motley Crue stole that riff from.
1982, they go on tour in the U.S.
Yes, and Canada.
So they do 3 U.S. tours in the 80s. The first one is this time. I could not find every single date, but I found some. They played in October 14th, they played Detroit, and then the next day they played in Philly.
Yeah.
In August 18th, I found the way I found some of this, folks, was using Discogs, finding bootleg tapes.
Releases.
Oh, okay.
Releases.
Yeah.
And I saw that there was a live release that was recorded in August 18th in Middleborough at the Crystal Cavern or something.
Where's
Crystal
Middleborough?
Cave or something like that.
The Crystal Cave, that is the Seagal album, by the way.
Or
Songs
something like
from the
that.
Crystal Cave.
Crystal Cove, something like that. And I tried to find out where Middleborough was. The only thing I could think of was Kentucky. It's Middleborough, Kentucky. But that venue I could not find anymore. I found something like it, but it seemed to be more of a cigar gentleman's club. I don't think it's the same place that Discharge played in 1982. But if they played in Kentucky in 1982,
Discharge
that's
played
crazy.
in fucking Kentucky. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my
And your band
life.
can't
I
fucking
find that
play
hard to
Rochester
believe.
or Buffalo or Syracuse. Get the fuck out of here, motherfuckers.
I know in 82 they did a show with Misfits in California, too. They played,
Really?
They
Okay.
played the Olympic Ballroom, I believe. Olympic
That's
might
where
not have been
a
around
ton
yet.
of bands played, right?
That is where all the... I'm kind of guessing that it's Olympic. I think it was, because that was a huge venue in L.A. that did punk shows, I think, among other things. But by that point in L.A., punk was already getting big enough that you could play a huge hall like that.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's it's crazy how big Discharge kind of and some of these other bands they were playing to 500, 600,
But yeah,
700
Olympic,
people.
when bands came from overseas to the U.S., a lot of times they would just do one-off shows at the Olympic. One Way System, actually one of the better UK 82 bands, went and played there. Raw Power played there. Radis fucking played there.
Yeah, didn't
Well, actually, Radis,
what's that other
Ristatet
UK? What's that
played
other
there.
UK crossover kind of band? The early 80s.
English Dogs.
English Dog. Didn't they play there? Is
They
there a
did
video
there,
of that?
as did Broken Bones from Discharge's band that
Yes.
he started after he left following the State Violence, State Control single. Broken Bones, I think, played California more than once, because one thing I've noticed, I love watching old videos from U.S. hardcore shows, especially looking at the T-shirts, because they're different than the ones you see now.
Yeah.
There's bands everybody loves now, and everybody has a shirt that no one gave a fuck about then. More interestingly, there's bands that everybody's got T-shirts for back then that
No one gives a shit about now.
or people who would go to a quote-unquote hardcore, people who would go see Electric Chair wouldn't care about now. You go watch old footage from the U.S., you see Anti-Nowhere League shirts because that gimmick band was big because it's a good gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
UK Subs because they toured the U.S. a lot.
Yep.
Angelic Upstarts because they toured the U.S. a lot.
Okay.
And you also see a lot of Broken Bones t-shirts because I think they played here a bit, and also when Discharge started to eat shit when Bones left,
Bones kind of the BB.
people got into that. Yeah.
It's, you know what? Another one that I think is really interesting, and a band that I'm not really familiar with, is that band Life Sentence.
Yeah, they're from Chicago.
Yeah, they're one of the hardcore zines, or one of the punk things that we follow on the Cop Instagram page.
Yeah.
At KOPPOD Official on Instagram.
Yeah.
They have posted. Someone has posted a bunch of people wearing Life Sentence shirts, and it's always like, I've never heard a single person talk about this band.
I used to listen to that LP a lot. It's really good. And
I did listen to it. It's pretty fucking good.
It's
like
awesome.
Crazy
And
no one here talks about it.
The cover art is really good, so that might have to do with the t-shirts. It's just good, simple cover art.
So we should listen to a song off Warning. Her Majesty's Government Can Seriously Damage Your Health, which is the next EP that they put out.
Yeah, play the song with the live wire riff.
I don't know what that one is. When there is a will, there is a way. Is that it?
I think so, yeah.
All right, we'll play Where There Is a Will, There's a Way. And just so we know, this is the first record that does not feature Bones. It features the guitarist Pooch, who would play for the next couple, 83 to 84 with them. So this is off Warning. Her Majesty's Government Can Seriously Damage Your Health. All right, so that was Where There's a Will, There's a Way. Now, I have a couple reviews that I wanted to read from Maximum Rock and Roll.
We start with that.
This is from the Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing LP. This came out in '82, first issue of MRR.
So this is for the LP,
The LP.
the good LP.
Doom with a very fast beat. Don't say that these guys didn't warn us if someone drops the big one, because this is the second LP. They also have 4 7-inchers that hammer away without mercy at the potential hell of a nuclear holocaust. The songs here tend to be a bit similar, repetitive riffs and some heavy metal guitar, but the delivery is so powerful, the words so convincingly committed that it's a winner. Much like watching a huge fire, horrifying but riveting at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, riveting
Positive
is a good word.
review.
Riveting is a good word for that record, by the
Okay.
way. But yeah, continue.
So, State Violence, State Control. Surprise, surprise. This record sounds just like Discharge. Actually, only Doomsday does. The flip is much slower, but structurally the same. You either like Discharge and can't get enough of them, or you say, never again. They sound a lot better on record than they do live. Interesting. So same person.
I've seen some live videos of them playing on the West Coast back then, and some of them are great. Some of them, I will say, it seems like they're getting lost a little bit.
Yeah.
And getting off from each other, and then Bones just starts soloing when he's not supposed to.
So this is from
Maybe
the record
probably
we just
an influence on Gizm. Perhaps he saw some bootleg videos of that, because that's what all the Gizm live footage is like.
Yes,
pretty much.
there's some stuff that's like that. It's very funny. More 24-track mundanity from Discharge. They're getting slower and more metalish these days. Anger Burning is hardly more than a standard rock song. It's okay for a band to change styles, but why follow the same boring route that so many others select? Give me Disorder any day.
I'll tell you this, by 1984, yes, Disorder didn't suck anymore and were, in fact, a very, very good band.
Yeah.
So really, this is probably going to be the most important topic we talk about in this episode. For many, many years, I had heard this, and I had also heard the great, great, great record Too Fast for Love by Motley Crue. I do love that album. And for whatever reason, I didn't look it up, and I just assumed that Motley Crue stole the riff you just heard from Discharge for their song Livewire, which you may know from the Michael Savage program on radio.
Yeah.
But
What a great show.
Our biggest inspiration as broadcasters, Mr. Michael Weiner there. Anyway, we looked it up and just confirmed I was totally wrong about that. Too Fast for Love came out in 1981, and I have a hard time believing that because it's the same riff. So Discharge presumably stole a Motley Crue riff.
Pooch comes in. He's like, all right, I got it. They got something, and he's like,
Screwed the fucking Pooch.
He's been listening to this new thing called Motley Crue.
Motley Crue. Wow, it sounds good. Oh, it sounds good. I'm Cal. Ooh.
Oi.
Meanwhile, Bones was making Decapitated,
Yeah.
Decapitated, and that shit ripped. So I think they might have screwed the Pooch a little on this one. But it's still, I would say, a good record.
Still a solid
screwed
record.
Pooch.
I like some of these.
There
some
are
of these
there
later
are
ones.
songs on here where Kale starts to do a high-pitched, like, metal thing a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's only a little bit.
You can hear his voice is different, though. From this to, like, if you compared this to Hear Nothing, it's like, huh.
He's
the
not
same guy?
He's not doing the, like, bark anymore.
No. Next record is very much where you hear, like, the metal.
The
Comes
next
out with
record is most certainly something.
Discharge, The Price of Silence, and Born to Die in the Gutter. So this is from the Max and Rock and Roll.
Oh, this record, actually, that one, I forgot about these two EPs. Shit,
Yeah.
I fucked up. These ones are, if anything, maybe better than Her Majesty's, I think.
I think this one is.
Born to Die in the Gutter is sweet.
I like that song. That song rules.
Yeah.
Born to die in the gutter.
Yeah, that shit is
Like-
cool. But he is doing a thing with his voice.
Die in the gutter.
The thing you just did, yeah.
He's starting to. Discharge's patent and wall of noise guitar sound seems inextricably entwined with severe heavy metal influences on the single, which admittedly has its moments of power. But these tasted lead breaks, combined with utterly lame heavy metal vocals, help make these two medium-speed offerings as disappointing as a recent 12-inch effort. Adequate lyrics, but they can't save the show. So, I wanted to say with Broken Bones, it's really interesting how, like, early crossover is in the UK.
Yeah.
Because you got, like, English Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You got, I guess this Discharge to a degree. You have
GBH on some level.
You have, well, we talked about what's the one we just talked about? Broken Bones.
Broken
Duh.
Bones, yeah.
So that's, I feel, something that didn't happen until like 85 or something like that. 84, 85 with the US.
Yeah, I mean,
they were kind of behind.
Earliest thing you could cite would be like the Stains and Suicidal Tendencies, and that's not really crossover. It's just punk with some heavy metal influences.
Yeah, they just happen to have a guitarist that can fucking shred.
They can play a little bit.
Especially Suicidal.
Yeah.
But
This Rocky George.
This is a. Like I said, I like that Born to Die in the Gutter. I like The Price of Silence, I guess, a little bit too.
Then after that, it's the Morrissey, right?
The Morrissey, yes, it is the Morrissey.
The Morrissey.
That's where Morrissey got his name from. He's like,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good name. Oh, Morrissey.
The Morrissey.
Maybe I should change how I sound too. This sounds too tough.
Yeah, I got.
This is interesting. This is another review from MRR.
I started singing gay because I wanted to be like the bloke from Discharge.
The bloke who discharged.
Well, hey, they had their first LP was out by then,
There you go.
84.
That's what happened. That's when he did it.
So
that's when he discharged.
let me see. I want to make sure. Yeah, Pooch. This is still the same lineup. So they come out kind of not tamper out, but
Kind of cold.
they're kind of losing their steam here now.
Bones is still
I do
out, right?
know-
Didn't Bones come back at some point?
Yes, later. Now I do know that they did they must have done some sort of a Euro tour in early '83.
Yeah.
Because there is another live bootleg from Lapako, Finland, in
Okay.
April of '83, and also in '83 from '83 to '84 they toured the U.S. again.
Yes.
Now
I think that's the footage I've seen of them in the
Yeah.
U.S. was from that tour.
I think probably was. Now he's still not doing his he's still like a little more robust vocally at live it seems, but like there's footage from them in '83 where it looks insane. Like they seem awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck it is and like what Cal's problem is because at the end of the day, it's him, right?
Well, you know what? Maybe it was like on some shit with. I feel like with these English bands, they always try to be like, not well. I shouldn't say always, but like when they look back at like their past offerings, they're like, oh no, I was a foolish child, just a lord back then. I didn't know any better.
Now I know better.
And then right now he's like, and now I'm trying to get some pussy.
May want some minge.
I gotta sing like Brian Johnson on these new records,
My Julie fancies the Iron Maiden record.
and not this fucking screaming shit.
The one with the Egyptian bloke on the cover. I just went Australian for a second. I was in Buffalo over the weekend, just hanging out with my my lady, just getting out of Rochester for a minute, and we were near a street called Melbourne Street, and I was just Melbourne, spinning my head all fucking
You know,
weekend.
it's weird. There was a guy at Vertex on Friday night who was from Australia.
That must have
Really?
been fun listening to him speak.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting.
It's certainly
he had
an
a cape
accent.
on, so
Okay, that sounds about right. It's fucking Captain Kangaroo.
he looked like Rob Halford.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. I learned about an Australian dish today that's it's like a pie like you get in England, like one of those
Like
meat
a meat
pies,
pie.
but it's floating in pea soup. You cook the pie so that it's buoyant and it floats
Floating
in pea
in
soup.
pea.
Christoph, can you let us know about that?
I'd eat it, man. I
thanks.
think Anglo food sounds better than it gets credit for.
But 83, we got those two singles. They're touring the U.S. They're going all up around. I think they do some Canada stuff. There is
He's
there is
driving
an
around the US,
interview.
he's like, the more I see of this place, the more I want to go back to where I'm from.
Yeah. And
The
then
more I see this place, the more I want to eat burger.
they come out with the More I See single in 1984. Now, again, this still has Pooch on it, but I believe it might be the last thing Pooch does. Clay Records also does like a compilation of like all of their earlier stuff that's like out of print and stuff like that.
I kind of as a stopgap measure, I think, because this band, I think,
all right, let's make sure. Hey guys, remember this band that's sick?
it seems like they started getting more and more popular, especially in the U.S. around the time that they decided to change their musical style drastically. Because I know, like, when they did their Fully Bad album in '86 and toured the U.S., like, those shows, lots and lots of people went. People really wanted to see Discharge, and
people were pissed.
they
though.
were in for a treat. So, do
Yeah.
we have a review of the Morrissey record, by the way?
Yes, there is a review for the
Just
Morrissey
calling it
record.
The Morrissey record. The More I See.
Here it goes. Yuck. The more I see of Discharge, the more nauseous I become. That song is unbelievably pathetic. Both the music and the vocals have a full-out metal sound. The B-side, taken from one of their earlier 12 inches, demonstrates just how much they've declined over the years. A complete waste of vinyl. I think we should play some of The More I See.
I would
we'll
like
play
to
the
hear
whole
some
song.
of it, too. Notably, I will note, MRR did not like metal.
Yeah, they have some disdain for it, and to a degree, though, I kind of agree with them on this.
Oh, they were
especially
right.
like being the '80s too. Like,
Think
yeah,
about the people who liked shit that sounded like this.
Yeah, probably
for
sucked.
real. Yeah.
So let's hear some of The More I See.
Well, folks, it's that time of the episode where we have to talk about one of our sponsors. And this week, it's Shirley Road Records. Yes, go over to ShirleyRoadRecords.com. Pick something out. If you need a little help, I actually got something that works perfect for this episode. We're talking the Massacre Divine 7-inch Beando e Morte. Now, this is like an international kind of little project featuring one of the members, Joe from Zax and Germ Attack, and a bunch of other Canadian bands, as well as one of the members of the Brazilian band Bestoven. And if you're a fan of D-Beat and Crust and you like foreign hardcore, you probably have heard about that band. Very good band. This record is really cool. It seems and sounds like Discharge songs, but played slightly differently with completely different lyrics. Very interesting. And it's only $4. Hey, $4. What can you get for $4? A cup of coffee or something? Barely. So go to ShirleyRoadRecords.com. They got everything that you're looking for if you're a crazy psycho who loves extreme and underground music. And maybe some not so extreme stuff too. And you can use promo code KOPPOD 10 to get 10% off of your order. If you like, you can also go to ShirleyRoadRecords.bandcamp.com to stream everything that CJ has put out on his record label. And that's a lot of different things over the last 6 or so years, I believe, that the record label has been going. So once again, ShirleyRoadRecords.com. Use the promo code KOPPOD10. Tell them we sent you.
So I always kind of liked this record, but especially upon revisiting it, it's like it foreshadows the next full length in that the music, pretty good, could be good. Cal's vocals,
What the fuck is going on there, pal?
completely inexplicable choices.
Yeah.
Why?
I do.
Why?
Yeah. I do like that song. I do like that song because it's like kind of like a, as you said, Tim, was like chunky. It's like little, got a groove to it, especially in the beginning where it's just the bass and the drums.
I mean,
and then when the
even the-
guitar comes in,
The
honestly,
lyrics aren't even bad either.
no.
I feel like that's not even that far off from something like Anti-Sact or like whatever,
Yeah.
or like Sacrilege.
Yeah,
That's
if,
they got
if
songs.
the
that sound
guitar
like
tone wasn't so wimpy sounding, then yeah, it could be like that.
Yeah. But they have one more record before they come out with their
A
second
GNW.
good record.
And that's the Ignorance No Compromise 7-inch. This comes out in 85. So pretty much at this point, Rainey and Cal are the only original members. They're getting like scabs here and there. Like Pooch had left. And this is another review from MRR. The A-side is pretty catchy, almost Motorhead type rock and metalish number with excellent lyrics. The flip is too plodding for my taste, but again with good lyrics. While I don't enjoy this brand of Discharge in much of their earlier incarnation, at least the integrity of the thoughts is maintained.
That is a good point.
Kind of good point.
That is a good point because even on Grave New World, the lyrical content, if I remember correctly, doesn't change that much, which is in stark contrast to a lot of other like punk bands that went metal, where they changed their style and promptly started singing about either dragons or pussy or some combination
or dragon
thereof.
pussy.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting. I think what that tells me is that these stylistic choices on Cal's part were done in earnest, and he must have just really liked whatever goofy heavy metal bullshit he was listening to. So I don't think any of this is the product of them trying to sell out, because otherwise he would have been singing about
Right, like pussy.
or fucking whatever. Although I will also say, to put this in context, like once we get to like 80, mid 80s, thrash metal is starting to be in full swing. Metallica's already out. If you want one great example of how this band
Venom has put out multiple records by this point.
This band, very clear influence on thrash metal. Musically, all those guys said GBH, Discharge, huge influences. I remember reading a New York hardcore book where Todd Youth from a bunch of bands said that when him and all his New York hardcore guys got a copy of Kill 'Em All by Metallica for the first time, their response was, "Who are these long-haired guys ripping off Discharge?" Among other things, I think thrash metal and Metallica in particular, the lyrical content of those records is not limited to fantasy shit and pussy and fantasizing about getting pussy. And I think you could trace a lot of that to Discharge and the lyrics about war and the darker subject matter. So I think this band influenced thrash metal, and then maybe thrash metal influenced them, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like a parasitic kind of
A
relationship.
negative feedback loop.
It's like birds chewing up food and feeding it to each other.
Yeah.
Till it's just fucking saliva.
Yeah.
It's just James Hetfield spit.
Ugh.
Just a whole lot of phlegm in his jaw.
Yeah.
Well, we
Big Ulrich Loogie going back and forth.
we are here, folks. We're at one of the most infamous recordings of all time.
Probably, yeah.
1986's Grave New World. Now, I'm sure you've probably heard of it. I'm sure you've listened to it. I've listened to it multiple times at this point. It is Discharge, not at its worst, if you can believe it.
No,
there are
not
worse
at all.
Discharge records after this.
Musically, I think this had the potential to be a perfectly passable, like, I won't even say thrash metal because it's too slow, a good heavy metal record. Again, with Cal's vocals and the fact that his lyrical content has remained somewhat consistent, I would say this is one of the strangest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would sing like that. Guns N' Roses wasn't even out yet, so I don't think he was trying to rip that guy off.
It was all Brian Johnson. BJ.
Dude, that's
even
all I
Brian
can think
Johnson
of.
would sound better on this.
Oh, he'd sound better. I'm just trying to figure out who he's poorly imitating.
Yeah, I don't know. People always say in the reviews that I've read and things, it's like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And it's like,
Maybe, yeah.
Is it? Maybe he does have a high voice.
Halford, maybe
Halford or something. I don't know. It's just like,
to me, I think he sounds like the singer from Nuclear Assault.
Oh, that's what we'll check out. Yeah.
Which I swear they sound pretty
And
interchangeable.
you would probably like it because of the name and because of the there's a heavy metal band that would not have had the aesthetic or the lyrics they did were it not for Discharge. I don't think.
Oh, probably not. No.
Yeah. Let's play the title track. Let's give the
I want
folks
to hear
here.
it too. This is.
You've never
really,
heard it before?
Oh, I've heard it, but I want to hear it again.
Okay.
It gets me every time.
Yeah, because it's musically it's not that bad. It's like this. Yeah, it's a metal record. It's okay. This isn't that bad. But then once the vocals hit, you'll know if you haven't heard it before.
Into the light.
not good either, though.
Would you say it's a grave mistake?
Yeah, especially upon revisiting. I mean, one, the vocals, I think you nailed it, Tyler. He probably is trying to do King Diamond because it sounds like that a little bit. It also does, it's almost prophetic how much it sounds like a bad version of Axl Rose.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Musically, I always, when I talk about this record, stress like, oh, it's not bad. The music's pretty good. The music's not bad, but by 1986, like, every branch of the heavy metal tree had sweeter fruit than this to offer.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's firmly mediocre music, pretty bad production, and the vocals, I don't even... Yeah, I guess he wanted to be King Diamond. I don't know, and I don't know why he wanted to do that.
They were like 5 years late on getting on that new wave of British heavy metal money.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
crazy.
what they were thinking.
And this doesn't even sound like that because that shit has the like soaring leads and like some double kick maybe here and there. This is like very plodding sounding.
Yeah.
Like when I think new wave of British heavy metal, I think like, you know, Saxon fucking flying through the sky, wheels of motherfucking steel and shit.
Like a D-head.
Diamond, yeah, D-head.
D-head with that Am I Evil shit.
That shit is goated. This is ass.
Lightning to the
honest.
Nations.
Yeah, this is Diamond ass.
This is shit and piss.
This.
I want to know what the fuck made them think they could go tour the United States and play like with punk bands.
Here's the thing. It was Rainey and Cal, and they recruited Gary Malone from the earlier records, and they needed a guitar player. And Fish, one of the members of the Skeptics, who also appeared on the Pusshead Top 100,
Great
remember
band.
that?
Love them.
Was talking to Mike Stone about, he was sending him like demos, and he's like wanting to get more stuff for the Skeptics, and we're like, yeah, well, we can't really afford to have like another band on the label, but would you want to play with Discharge? And so he's like, sure, cool. And so he writes the stuff with Rainey and Gary, and then
Which makes sense. The Skeptics' later stuff is into metal punk territory, but it's really good.
and again, this could have been a little bit better. And there's a great article about this.
This could have been a little bit better.
This could have been a little bit better. There's a great article about interview with
Could
Fish
have been worse, so presumably.
on Negative Insight, which we'll put in the link.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth reading.
Now, why does he go by this name? Is it because he smells like a fish, or
I don't.
It's because he's
Tim, I
British
don't
and they
know.
all have stupid fucking names.
They
if
love
you didn't
fish
notice.
there. Fish and
they
chips.
fish a lot?
They do.
Oh, he's named after his favorite hobby.
And Jelly Deal.
Yeah.
He loves to go fishing and wearing a camo hat.
So they write this, and they record it. And in the interview, he says, "Yeah, when Cal did those vocals, I thought he was taking the piss." But
Any reasonable person would.
yeah, they're like, oh, wait, what? That's what you're doing?
And then Cal had to explain to him, like, oh, no, brother, I'm doing
I
it.
will say no.
Looking the way, if you look at pictures from this, looking the way Cal does, which is hilarious.
Dude, that footage of, like, Discharge from, like, that U.S. Grave New World tour or whatever. Like, didn't we watch a video from that where, like, he's, like, all on stage and he, like, doesn't have a shirt on, and it's just, like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
I don't think I've seen footage of it, but
I haven't
there's
either.
audio of it.
Yeah, and I will say, before we get to that quick thing on this record, I will say if he did the opposite thing and went back to his earlier vocal style, like the barking, like decontrol style vocals, this would be an awesome record. This plotting heavy metal with the wanky leads, but then angry fucking vocals, that would be a really cool, unique record. I would think it was great. But that's the opposite of what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Discharge goes on a U.S. tour. Rainey leaves like after recording this because also for those that don't know, there is a 15-minute song on this fucking album.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've listened to it before. It's
How
awful.
could they?
I don't fucking know, but
Is it like that the whole time, or is it like a multi-part prog thing, or is it just really
I don't
long?
think it's as no, it's not a prog thing. I think it's just very
It's
plotting and
Just a lot of
boring.
guitar solos.
It's more
Yeah.
like on the Angel and the Gambler tip, is what you're saying.
Yes. Now, if you don't know, they went on a U.S. tour. I forgot who they had play bass. I think someone else from Skeptics, maybe.
Yeah, I
But
think so.
this was like devastating. They did like a 5-week tour, played like 20 shows or something like that, and just like every time was just getting like dumped on. Like almost literally.
No, literally
sometimes.
dumped on. I think famously when they played the Ritz in New York City, HR from Bad Brains had like a garbage can he filled up with water and dumped it on them while they were playing.
They did that, I think, similarly with at the Farm. If you haven't heard it, listen to the recording when they played the Farm in San Francisco,
Which is a fucking squat, by the way.
yeah. Also, who also played with that show? DRI. Attitude Adjustment,
Possessed,
and
right?
Possessed.
Yeah.
Wow, so they basically they set themselves up for complete failure on that one.
Absolute
So
fail.
they-
If you're going up against DRI in '86 and you're
Attitude
Discharge,
Adjustment.
dude, you're losing. You are fucking losing.
And Possessed.
So you're playing with like the best punk and best extreme metal bands in that area, pretty much. At least the best ones that weren't like Metallica or Slayer.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're doing both punk and metal poorly.
Yeah. And you're like, and Cal the entire time is just like, no, we aren't playing the old stuff. And apparently they were able to coax him into doing State Violence, State Control. And he was like, okay, but I'm going to sing it like this. And it's like, just made people more
on
mad.
the bootleg recording, you can hear the crowd chanting "fuck you,"
Yeah.
"fuck you," "fuck," and it gets louder and louder until it is significantly louder than Discharge playing.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's funny because, like, I swear to God, I think earlier in the year, or maybe around that year, sometime in that year, what's Puzzhead's band?
Septic Death.
Septic Death plays, and Jeff, not Jeff, guy from Metallica,
Hetfield.
James Hetfield, like, introduces like them.
Yeah.
Like, if you've never seen that, was like only recently covered in the last like 5 or 6 years. And imagine going to shows at the Farm and like, and
You're at like ground zero for American crossover and like punk influenced metal.
you're at peak.
And you,
time
not
right
only
now.
that, but you're the like number one band that inspired all of those bands, and the number one band that anyone who liked them would probably agree on.
So, ooh, Discharge is playing. Oh,
And
I wonder
you're
what
there
that's going to be like.
sucking ass.
And you might not have been able to hear the record, the LP. Might have not have gotten the LP yet,
yeah, probably
or
not.
heard it. And it's like, ooh, man. It's like, man, 2 years ago they were awesome. Like, or 2-3 years ago they were great.
This is why I push back on the thing where people are like, "Well, I make music for myself. I don't care what people think." It's like sometimes you should. Sometimes you just
Yes.
need to take a hint, and you should take a hint, and you should trust your fans enough to know. Or I won't say fans. I fucking hate the idea of fans. You should trust listeners enough to have some judgment about whether you're good or bad after a certain point.
You know what I think is funny, just with how abusive these crowds are being towards Discharge. I don't know. Do you think that's because they're like, oh, these are a couple of Europeans. It's like, oh, like we can treat these people
I mean,
like
the
complete
accent-
dog
yeah,
shit.
they're European.
The accent,
They're gonna be peeing.
I'll say the accent never helps.
Right, it just makes you want to be rude to people like that.
And yeah, they've been fully surpassed by their peers. I mean, this same year, a very, very, very Discharge influenced band from Sweden by the name of Anti-Cimex, they did a heavily metal influenced 12-inch, and it's fucking kicks ass. It's one of the best Anti-Cimex records, and it's fucking
It's crazy.
just an Onslaught had a fucking record out.
I was gonna say, roughly, you got like all the other bands back in England probably around this time who were, taking what Discharge,
I mean, Extreme Noise Terror was putting out stuff around this time,
ENT,
right?
you got
Napalm
fucking-
Death,
Even if you want to
Doom.
Yeah.
Fuck.
if you want to be less crusty and go more like crossover, English Dogs were making like some of the best crossover at all time.
Axe Grind.
Of all time
Like,
at this
I wasn't
point.
like Axe Grinder and like Hell Ripper and shit like that.
That's Hell Bastard.
Hell Bastard.
That's more.
So the fucking Cro-Mags
cross.
record came out in 1986.
yeah. So like, who? Yeah, it's crazy how bad. That's what I was talking about like last episode. There isn't like bands don't do this anymore.
No, I kind of wish they did.
I kind of wish they did too.
Actually, it is funny because I kind of they were like that is like some shit like the American hardcore bands would do. You know, like that's like some SSD shit.
Yeah.
The fucking some of those records are good. You know, you got the
Void. that Void
Necros
record's,
Tangled Up. That's a good record.
You gotta break it up, right?
Break It
That's
Up. That is
SSD?
not a good record. Verbal
See, I mean-
Verbal Abuse Rocks Your Liver. That one rules.
Dyke Kreutzen had October Files.
Great record.
That is a good one,
The
though.
Effigies post-punk record is awesome.
So it can work sometimes. It's just like it depends on how it goes. But yes, this is bizarre. Cal eventually they were going to kick Cal out. They said, which is funny because it's like none of you are original really at all. But okay, they were going to kick him out. He leaves. They pretty much like break up after that.
Yeah.
But not for very long. I believe 89. There is some sort of comp. Like Clay is putting out like reissuing probably stuff around this time.
They're milking this shit.
And I believe in 91, they kind of come back.
It was 91.
Now, there's footage of them in 91 where they did a Japan tour, which is really interesting. And like I just said, they...
Oh, you know, I think that's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, would they look like metal assholes?
No, and yeah, like just like the singer, like trying to be like he's in like AC/DC or something. Yeah.
Now, 91 in Japan, as I said earlier, Cal was like refused to do older songs when they were on the US tour in 86. I found footage of them in 91 in maybe Okinawa or something like that. They did a bunch of dates, and they are playing exclusively older material. It's crazy. I'm like, what? Okay, what the fuck? So back then in the United States, you have this record that no one likes, and like you're like, no, we can't. But you reform to play Japan, and you can play all older material. Ridiculous. But there's also footage.
I also think maybe whoever booked the tour for them in Japan was like, listen, you need to play this stuff. Like, don't play any of this other shit.
I'm just imagining a bunch of like Yakuza guys.
But seriously though, man.
And Sensei Seagal's in the back. He's like, he sits down with Cal. He sits down with Cal. He's like, now listen, motherfucker. If you want to play this motherfucking gig, you're gonna play this motherfucking set list I got right here.
You best not be slipping, dude.
You understand, blood? If I hear that goddamn falsetto, you better watch your six, brother, man.
Man, brother, if I hear that coming out of your mouth,
I will snatch your motherfucking birthday.
But there is footage that I've watched. Death Side opened up for them on one of the shows, and Ishiya, the vocalist, was like, someone translated it. It's like they seem to be very upset with how arrogant Discharge, because he says something like, "Discharge, man, what assholes," or something like that.
I'm
like
sure
during their set.
Death Side in 1991 would have blown them and like just about every band ever off the fucking stage.
I'm sure they were probably asking their underboss of the Yakuza to be like, can I shoot up and stab Cal, please?
I don't think these bands were as connected to the Yakuza.
No,
as,
it's blown out of proportion.
I think
but
a little bit blown out of
it's
proportion.
funny though. It's funny.
It is funny.
There's some truth to it, I've heard in some ways, but
Depending. I think it's with the clubs. But
that's
that
what
makes
it was,
sense.
yeah. And to be clear, Seagal's claims to have either been connected to the Yakuza or having fought them in hand-to-hand combat
Very unfounded.
is completely false.
I beat them so bad.
His ex-wife said that
kissed me.
he had to kick some drunks out of the front of his dojo once, and that was about it for her seeing him fight
Christ.
people in Japan.
But they also put out a record in 91. And boy, you thought if Grave New World was bad.
Wait till you get a load of this doo-doo.
Of Massacre Divine.
This is where this is like even more bizarre. It gets really weird.
I
with
think
these guys.
Honestly, I think it just keeps getting like this 3-album period. Like it just kept getting like worse and worse.
Somehow.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this album I could only describe loosely as like funk thrash.
Do we? I mean, I know what the perfect song we could play for this
We
section.
gotta hear it. It's Sexplosion,
We gotta
right?
play
Yeah.
Sexplosion.
Yeah, Steven Seagal actually wrote this for them. This is an outtake from the songs from the Crystal Cave
this
album.
is a song called Sex Explosion.
Sex. It's about how I want the punani.
I need the Punani.
I need it so
I'm
bad.
Steven Seagal.
All right,
My
this
name's
is
Steven Punani Seagal.
Sexplosion by Discharge off of Massacre Divine.
So I'm going to start with some positives. First off, I like the album art for Massacre Divine. Actually, it does.
It's pretty cool.
It reminds me very much of the new Lotion record, which is probably the best record I heard this past year, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. That Curly's record.
It's second best. Seriously. But fucking, and I can't defend this opinion or explain it, but I'm tempted to say I like this record better than Grave New World.
Yeah, at least it's funnier.
It's funnier. The production is less like murky and bad sounding, and his vocals are marginally less annoying, but still absolutely
somehow
fucking
more
garbage.
annoying too.
Still a complete dog turd.
It's like he'd been gargling like glass. Like
Yeah,
every
which
other day.
was becoming kind of in vogue in the early '90s. That's like I don't know. I don't know if he wanted to be Kurt Cobain or Eddie Vedder or what he was trying to do, but fucking I don't know what he was trying to do. You guys show me that Mordred band that was like funk metal. I guess Faith No More was big at this point. Maybe.
Oh yeah, that's another good call. Yeah.
Suicidal Tendencies. I mean, what's the other suicidal band related?
Oh,
band?
Infectious Grooves.
Infectious Grooves.
That's like
the slap bass and meat is like so. It's the thing is though, some of those bands that groove. This is like
zero groove.
White. This is true white
These
people
are
groove.
I mean, and from up north, you know.
So
up north,
of course
white
they had
people.
no groove. 3 of the songs start exactly the same of this song and on this record.
Right, with the choppy, terrible drumming. Like
I
you
think
were
it's
talking
like
about.
White Knuckle Ride and New Age.
White Knuckle Ride.
Yeah, that
Dude,
sounds really.
it's
like
the
Amy
songs
Ladd.
on this are City of Fear, FED, Lost Tribe Rising. It's like, what the fuck is this? What the
Lost
fuck is
Tribe
going
Rising
on?
This motherfucker's. Is it you, Black Hebrew Israelite, or what? What is going on here?
This is like their first record where they really started doing like the Sax Pussy songs, right?
Yeah.
I guess they don't really do it at all. This Sexplosion.
They actually never say anything about sax besides
Well,
the title Sexplosion.
It's called Sexplosion, but he says Sex Explosion. So it doesn't even match up.
He's like not even saying anything about the kind of sax he'd like.
I
to
like
have.
the slap bass, because the thing is, I play with my fingers.
They said ain't no the people that play the
How many white boys play with their
They
fingers?
never seen a they never seen a white boy play like this
play with their
before.
fingers. I play like this because Abba Collins played like this. Abba King played like this. I'm sorry, I'm doing more Steven Seagal. I just was watching him over the
Yeah,
weekend.
people are gonna
This is a
think that you're actually just doing
crossover.
like a racialist voice.
No, we're just making fun of Steven Seagal.
Yeah, don't be fooled.
I don't know what color I am. There's no color in the blues, but I know out of all my friends, I'm the only one who was quote unquote not black who played with his fingers.
Blue
Quote,
is a
unquote.
color.
I like
Mr.
quote,
Seagal, blue is a
quote
color.
unquote, not black.
You are a color, whatever the color of like a glazed ham is. That's the color that you
like
are.
a pink, like a nice
Yeah.
pink color. Yeah.
But Discharge does not end here.
No, it gets much worse.
It gets worse.
discovered
Wilder.
just in preparation for this episode. I knew about Massacre Divine. I did not know about
Shooting up the world.
this thing is fucked. This
Yeah.
is fucked.
album cover. It's an eye with a gun hand in the middle, a hand holding a gun.
And the first song is about like Charles Manson for some reason.
Manson child.
Manson child.
Which is see, they're trying to be like genocide, Manson youth.
Yeah,
But
probably.
they couldn't take
They
that name.
definitely wanted to be like genocide. That's what I take away from this thing.
That's honestly though, if they wanted to make like a record that didn't suck big balls,
This
They rip out
this
genocide.
is the
Yeah.
most inexplicable one. I have no idea why this album sounds the way that it did. They're playing some weird dissonant chords. Which,
dude, it
Yeah.
it sounds like
crazy.
metalcore. It sounds like metalcore. It's like, how are they doing this right
sounds
now?
a little like they want to do grunge though. To Alice in Chains, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right about the dissonant like voivod.
I always attribute that to Voivod, but they're playing like mid-tempo plotting bullshit. And
Yeah, they're not playing like technical.
his vocals by this point, I would be comfortable saying maybe he wanted to do an Axl Rose thing. The lyrical content, I mean, Charles Manson, he's doing like Hollywood, Babylon type
USA
lyrical
stuff.
content. Like, I don't know, man. Someone needs to ask this motherfucker about why. Because I don't have an answer really. That's
Yeah.
my speculative stuff upon listening to this is Voivod and like the cock rocky end of like grunge and alt rock.
It seems to me that if I had to guess that this Buddy Cale here, he must be extremely embarrassed about
Probably.
these records. If I had to guess, that must
Well,
be
it's
it.
like I said,
If he refuses to talk about it.
he like doesn't want to talk about it like ever, and like or like people aren't able to get to him, or maybe they're just choosing not to. But it's really weird that like Tez and like even Rainey, I guess, seem to be down to talk about it, and Bones even.
I feel like even like you could be honest if you like contact them and were honest with them, be like, listen, like I know like everybody like thinks that those are like bad records. It's like nobody's here to bust your balls.
No,
we just want to like
wanna know what
figure
your
some shit out
influences
about
were, yeah.
this. Yeah.
I want to figure it out because like they're also it's enjoyable to a degree. It's like yes, it's bad. Yes, I think it's bad. Yes, I might laugh at it a little bit, but hey, bro, that's more than a lot of records. That's more than a lot of DB records from the 90s and 2000s.
Right, yeah.
So, and not to say that this is DB necessarily or really at all. It's not. But I don't know. And truly, at the end of the day, the good outweighs the bad for Discharge. Like,
Yeah, and they got back to the good after this, I would argue.
not too much longer after this. Yeah.
Which I mean,
well,
we're
kinda
not
long
going to
after this.
discuss that, are we?
We don't really.
I wanna
We don't need to play songs for him necessarily,
no,
but
we might add a song from the O2 record because I want to say the record in 2002, which I believe Bones rejoined for, correct?
yeah. So what happened? Pretty much, they're in this amorphous state of like playing fucked up metal shit. I don't even know. It's hard to describe. I might have popped in a song from Shooting Up the World here, but
Yeah.
they're hanging out apparently with Nigel Bamford, some of the older members, one of the OG members, Nigel Bamford, who played bass originally, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about redoing doing Discharge again, like
Yeah.
Bones and Rainey and stuff like that. So I believe what they do is the original, like pretty much the original lineup comes together. Rainey, Tez, Bones, Cal, and it maybe someone else, and they end up doing an album. Cal can't end up doing it. He can't like tour on like stuff. So
But he's on that record, though.
he is, I believe, on the what is it called? Desensitize or like
No,
or is
that
it
one's
just called-
later. No, I'm talking about there's a self-titled
Discharge?
one
It's
before
just a
that.
self-
self-titled album. I
Yeah,
think.
and,
Okay,
and,
yeah.
and they do that desensitized one too. So as far as briefly, like after Discharge gets back together with a real lineup and starts playing actual Discharge music, I think they did 3 albums. The second and third ones I would say are not good. The first one from 2002, I'm confident saying is a good album. It's not a great album. It's not on par with Y or whatever, but it sounds like Discharge. His vocal style is all the way back to how it used to be. The songs are very, very memorable. They're catchy. They get stuck in my head. My biggest criticism on this record actually is the drumming. I mean, the tragic thing about this record is it's good, but by this point, 92, D-Beat, I mean, Driller Killer was already around. Their acolytes from Scandinavia had made them obsolete. And the most Scandinavian thing about this record is there are some Ulrichian tendencies in the drumming, which is to say he plays some stupid-ass fucking fills that don't need to be there. But all things considered, the self-titled Discharge record from O2, good, worth listening to, but maybe not necessary for them to do more records.
Yeah,
I wish
and-
they called it quits after that. They especially if Cal couldn't tour on it, they should have just broken up and been like, all right, everybody gets one last good record. You get like a last show maybe locally in Stokey, and then that's it.
I would say so. In '93, when Shooting Up the World comes out, I think was it Absolute Country of Sweden comes out.
Yeah, like come on,
Like,
yeah,
come on, man. Like, not even close. Like that. It's crazy.
it is still
Crazy.
good, but it's not Absolute Country of Sweden.
No. What? What's so good?
Though I like I said, I think that O2 Discharge record.
No,
is
I'm talking about Shooting Up the World. Like,
Oh, yeah,
you're
yeah,
a punk
that's
person.
93.
Like,
Yeah.
like you're like, yeah.
If you're a metal person, you're not going to listen to Shooting Up the World either.
You're listening to Morbid Angel, brother.
Morbid Angel or probably Dream Theater, to be honest with you.
Anything else on the face of the fucking planet other than that.
Or grunge.
Right, even
or you're
hip-hop.
listening to the Judgment Night soundtrack.
Right, there's like the number thing. You could be listening to bossa nova, polka, who knows what.
Yeah.
Any sort
third
of,
wave ska. I don't give a fuck. You're not listening to that.
You're listening to like Green Day.
I think
Yeah.
the only person listening to those Discharge records are the people who performed on its parents and family.
Yeah.
They were able to pawn off. We sold 4 guys.
to me mom. Oh, actually, me parents are divorced, so that's 4 copies.
So I would say so. After Cal like kind of leaves and they're kind of a band again, they get Rat from the Verukers.
Yes.
Which is interesting. He plays from 2003 to 2014.
Perfect replacement. I mean, because Verukers, by 1984 even, I would say the Verukers were better than Discharge.
Yeah.
And the Verukers,
for sure.
They did not stray from that formula. The Verukers records from the 90s are awesome.
When did Religion of Fraud? Is that Verukers? Or is that something
Another
else?
Religion, Another War?
Yeah, same thing.
That came out in like 83, I'm pretty
No, 84, I believe, maybe.
But still, like they're 83, they're that era post like 82 stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
even the
it's
82
all
record.
great, yeah. Like I said, even the One Struggle, One Fight, that came out in the 90s, that's a great Verukers album.
Yeah. So I will agree, 2002 record, not bad. I think, though, the thing that's overlooked is the 2016 record. And End of Days or whatever.
A Nuclear Blast, that one.
That one is good.
It is good? Maybe
It's good.
I got to revisit it then. I only
The
listened to it
vocalist
briefly.
had been playing in Broken Bones for a while.
Rat
and then he
again?
joined. No, not Rat.
Different guy, okay.
Different guy. I forgot his name. But he joined Discharge because Broken Bones is still a band this entire time. And
Yeah.
I think putting out, like, especially in the late 80s, they were putting out solid records.
Yes, yeah.
So, also very funny reading in the book Burning Britain about Bones. He was like, yeah, I don't listen to LPs or other bands because I don't want to be influenced by them, which is like,
That's literally what Dave Mustaine says.
that's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's like whenever a musician says that, it's just like,
That's how you know they're an
God,
idiot.
I've heard two
You're either
musicians-
lying or like you're just like so far up your own ass.
I've heard two people say that now, Bones and previously the Dave Mustaine used to say
Right.
that in interviews.
Bones, it's like, that is not good company to be in with on that.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry, Bonesy.
Sorry, Bones.
But yeah, the 2016 record is good.
Okay.
Like
That's kind of more like
and they sound really fucking good now. Like,
that's like almost
yeah, they do.
crossover though, isn't it?
no,
Kinda?
it's like straight up like old like Discharge stuff.
Oh wow.
Like it sounds like Hear Nothing, like kind of Discharge. Like obviously not the same. It's got maybe a little teeny bit more metal influence, but like very much like a throwback, but again done very well. And Tez, he moves from drums. He plays guitar, which makes sense. He's an older person. You know what? Hey, old heads that are drummers, learn how to play guitar. Like you can just join on guitar and have a young buck fucking DB away. But yeah, it's like Tez, Bones, Rainey, and then like two younger people. Like, and we'll say younger. I mean, they're so old and like.
I do remember this
like
record. You
22-year-old.
know what? I misspoke earlier. That record is good. Desensitized is not very good. That one's good.
No, that has a song that I think is very funny called "They Lie, We Die." I remember watching a music video for it.
I remember that
it's
too. I
interesting.
remember that from when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Lie, we die.
They lie, we die.
But that's, I think, pretty much it for the history of Discharge. But I think maybe we should, before we end, brush up on, what is the takeaway from this? Is there anything to take away from this?
Well, I led by talking about how this band's influence is so huge, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. I think a lot of music critics outside the punk world have overlooked that. They literally invented a genre unintentionally called, there's a whole genre based on ripping them off called D-Beat.
Yep.
They,
Discore, as they used to be called.
Thrash metal probably wouldn't, at least it wouldn't sound anything like it did without this band.
Swedish punk, hardcore would. I mean, dude, like, there's a handful of Swedish and even like other bands from that region that were like super, absolutely.
Yeah, that was
influenced by
probably
them.
the biggest. I mean, and I would say European punk and hardcore in the '80s generally. This is the predominant influence. You do hear other influences, but the predominant, like the default sound for European hardcore in the '80s is sounding like Discharge.
Yeah.
And I think, we shit on their later records, and I would say justifiably so, but there is a tragedy to it in the sense that I feel like when you're this influential, it is inevitable that the people inspired by you are going to surpass you at some point.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. It's the same in sports or anything else. Like, that was always going to happen. I like I said, I wish... I don't wish. It doesn't matter to me. I think those records are funny. But if I was them, I would maybe be wishing that they did that 2002 record a little earlier and called it, and then it'd be a little bit more of a graceful decline, aging gracefully, I guess. But it all happened really fast. In just one short little decade, they changed the face of all extreme music forever.
Yeah.
And again, the reason I think maybe we've been talking a little more about like, oh, hardcore crossing over the mainstream. I think mainstream music fans and critics need to pay attention to this band and give them their due, or they should if they know what's good for them, because there is artistic value to this band that goes way beyond just like, oh, they're a kick-ass punk rock band. Like they
just created a D. They created
Even-
a DB.
No,
it's more.
dude.
It's a little more than that.
I feel like even with like the whole fashion thing, like we were talking about with the
absolutely,
jacket,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
like I
Yeah,
said,
aesthetically
there's
very
so
important.
much like iconography, and there like so many notable things where you see it. It's Discharge. You know it's Discharge. The pigeon on a knife, the 3-headed like skull,
or like the eye, ear, mouth, and brain.
Yeah,
thing. You know, you
like-
see that shit.
Like I don't
the,
fucking
even the fucking even their name. Like
Oh yeah, like
the
bands
dis-
rip
the
that
dis-
font off like crazy.
Rip that font off. The Dis band name, like
Yeah.
that's another big thing. Like, dude, this band did so much. They're like.
Disband.
They're like, what if Agathocles was like had a better influence on the world?
like Rolling Stone and shit will give the credit to like Black Flag and Minor Threat and all those bands, but that's because of Stephen Blush's book and because of Fugazi. And like, if they really wanted to pick the 5 most artistically valuable things out of the '80s hardcore scene, I don't know how you don't. I don't know how you don't. Pick
You know, the only
this
way
band
to
as one
get
of
them to finally acknowledge Discharge, get the singer from Paramore to say something about it.
Oh
that might be a start. Yeah.
Got to get like don't know.
Whoever that is?
I'm trying to think, who can we get?
100 Gex.
100, yeah, 100 Gex does a remix of
Or like
the
Bad Bunny.
the Morrissey.
Yeah, Bad Bunny would do it.
Get Bad Bunny to do a remix of like,
Of the Morrissey.
yeah.
There we go. He probably loves Morrissey.
Probably, yeah.
So that would make a ton of sense. Yeah, no,
Or get Jay Belvin to do it because he did a Metallica cover.
Did he?
Yeah,
Oh
we'll
my
listen to it
God!
on here,
You're right.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was actually one of the better songs on that comp. Or
I believe
whatever that
Shakira
was.
did a good Metallica cover.
I can't remember which one.
Yeah, she did that song, yeah.
You guys should know about that.
Yeah, look up the vocal cover of "Nothing Else Matters" by Jack Mann on YouTube.
Well, folks, we're the Kings of Punk. We're a podcast. That was the legacy
That's
of
right.
Discharge. You know, we got to pass out the flowers to the acts before they're all dead. And surprisingly, I don't think a single member of this band is dead. I think every single one.
They are.
Are they?
Yeah.
They are all dead.
They are all.
They're alive. Like Bones is alive. I would
Pretty
know
sure
if he
everyone
died
is.
because
Yeah, we would know.
That dude is one of the biggest influences on my guitar playing. We didn't even hardly get to analyzing his guitar playing. We could do that another time. He's great at that. It's like a sort of a souped up version of the Johnny Thunder style where it sounds like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and then you discover that he does. It's like it's magical.
All right. Well, last thoughts. Final thoughts.
No.
Kingsofpunk.com, motherfucker. KOPPOD official on Instagram.
Best watch your six,
Watch
brother.
your six.
Watch your six, brother. Go to kingsofpunk.com/bigcartel or whatever the fuck to buy our stickers. As I would like some money, please. Thanks. Bombs away.